Here's 7 things I stopped doing that made me rich from YouTube automation. So as you can see, I've been able to successfully scale to multiple million subscribers on YouTube, making many 4 and 5-figure YouTube ad revenue months, and amassing almost $1 million just in ad revenue alone. And I've also been able to help my students build 4 and 5-figure a month YouTube channels as well. So let's dive into the 7 things that changed everything for me. So number 7. Stopped searching for the perfect niche. So if you're always searching for the perfect niche before you start your journey, you're just going to end up wasting a ton of time and pushing out the time to actually start making money, because there's so much more than just picking the right niche when it comes to YouTube. You need to know how to properly ideate, produce, package, review your analytics. And so if you're just sitting around, you're probably going to let another year pass, 2 years pass before you ever do anything. And most niches can make you money, so you need to be considerate of the fact that you don't want to hold up your own progress. So as I just alluded to, the truth about niches is that almost all niches can generate an income. The ones that can't are usually the ones that are particularly challenging to monetize due to copyright issues, channels that target kids that are hard to monetize. But outside of those, your channels can definitely generate at least a few $1,000s per month. And like I said, 80% of the work is improving your planning, which is in picking the topics, your packaging, which is your title and thumbnails, and the production, which is the script, the voiceover, and the editing of your videos. So at the end of the day, yeah, you might pursue a channel that's not going to make you $10,000 a month, but it can certainly add thousands of dollars to your pocket each and every month. So how are you going to do this right, and how did I figure out how to pick viable niches for myself? So the approach you want to use is the following. You want to validate the growth potential of your niche so that you can grow a successful channel that people want to watch. You want to validate the monetization options so that you know that you can actually monetize your channel outside of just ad revenue, which is going to obviously make it a little bit harder for you to make those, $7, $8, $10, $20,000 months on YouTube. And you want to make sure that you are picking a niche where the content strategy is going to align to your channel approach. And what I mean by that is, if you pick a niche where you need to upload every single day, but you're a busy dad or a busy mom that has kids and you work a job, how are you ever going to keep up with that? So you want to make sure that you think about that, which is something few people think about, by the way, as you're starting your channel. So the way that I like to find niches is using TubeLab. So I'm actually going to show you right now what that looks like. So if we go and we log into TubeLab, they have a tool called the Niche Finder. And what I like to do is I like to open up the Niche Finder and I just go filter, and I like to see channels that are within a year old, that just started within the last year, faceless, monetized, and I like to set just an income target. So let's say I want to make at least $5,000 a month. I go to English, and then I hit select. And so what this allows me to do is see a whole bunch of different channels that I could potentially pursue, right? So it's going to show you high profitability, low profitability, which is going to be the RPM of the channel. It's going to show you how much interest there is in the particular niche. And those are the couple metrics that you really want to be looking out for, because we want high interest, high demand niches with obviously moderate to high profitability. So you can simply just use this tool to filter out niches for you to potentially pursue. And the reason why I like this is because otherwise you're just going to be scrolling on the YouTube homepage for hours and hours trying to find something like this. But without, having endless amounts of time, you can just simply use this tool and then pick out niches that you may want to potentially pursue. So again, you're seeing so many different examples here of channels that you can pursue. You're seeing how much that they're earning in the last 30 days, what their estimated RPMs are, because obviously every video has a different RPM based on the topic, etc. And so then the only last thing that you'd want to do if you were to find a channel that you wanted to pursue is, let's say this is the channel that you are thinking of pursuing, right? My advisement to you is to simply go onto the channel and then also look to see if the channel is being monetized by things outside of ad revenue. So how I would do this is see if they have here a link to any Patreon, any offer, any website, open up the videos, see if they have any brand integrations where it says includes paid promotion, see if they're promoting any affiliate offers in the videos. Things like that will indicate to you if they have monetization options outside of ad revenue. So once you go through this process and you find a niche that not only meets your income target, but has multiple monetization methods, you want to also, like I said, look at how often are they uploading, because if all the channels in your niche are uploading daily and you want to upload once a week, you may have a challenge. And then finally, at that point, you just want to make sure that it is something that interests you so that you're engaged when building your channel. So that is how you're going to pick the right niche for your channel so you don't waste a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of money. Now, the next thing that allowed me to start to get more traction on YouTube that I stopped doing was ignoring my analytics. So when you ignore your analytics, lots of problematic things can arise. So if you ignore your analytics, you're going to reduce your video's ROI, or return on investment, because you don't really know if the videos that you're producing outside of the view count, where are the metrics lying? Are you doing well in certain aspects? Are you not? And if you don't know what you're doing wrong, you can't identify the fixes to do things right. That means that your channel is probably not going to get a lot of traction, it's not going to improve over time, and you're never going to make any money. Not only that, but let's say you want to get monetized in the next month, or you want to make $5,000 a month in the next year or something. It's going to slow down your progress if you keep making the same mistakes month over month, upload after upload. So what you want to do, and what I started doing, was each and every week I review the analytics of the videos that I upload. So things I focus on personally: first 30-second retention. There's a specific aspect of your retention curve that's going to indicate this. You want to look at spikes, dips, click-through rate, and overall retention. So I'm going to do a little bit of an analysis overview with you right now that you can basically emulate on your own channel. So if we take a look at this video right here, this is a channel that I created a video about on the channel here, how I monetize this channel in 21 days using completely AI. So you can see here, if I'm looking at this video, I want to look at certain things like how did the video perform in the first 30 seconds. Only 69% of viewers are still watching around the 30-second mark. I like this to be up around 70-75%, so I'm not far off, but maybe I want to make some tweaks to the intro. Next, we're seeing that there's no major dips. It's a pretty relatively consistent curve down. But if you have big dips or spikes, you'll see little buttons here that'll allow you to highlight those sections. Also too, you can see the average view percentage, pretty strong, almost 40% on a new channel. And this video had quite a few thousand views, so that's pretty good. And then the other thing I like to look at here is the click-through rate. So I'm not really as concerned, quite frankly, about the click-through rate and the number of views on the video per se. But what I'm more interested in looking at is if I have very low impressions and high click-through rate, I know that the video is not getting pushed out on YouTube, which is probably just YouTube trying to figure out who to promote the video to. If the impressions are high and the click-through rate is low and the views are low, then I know that there's something not as appealing about my video when it comes to the title, the topic, or the thumbnail for my prospective viewer that's getting recommended my video. So if I actually have enough impressions to make an assessment on the click-through rate, then I probably need to revisit how I come up with topics or the packaging. But if I'm not getting a lot of impressions, I know that it's probably more of a YouTube issue per se than anything else. And you also want to do the analytics to see what kind of packaging is working best. So you can see here that these different options are basically outlining which packaging is working the best. So use these pieces of data and analytics to inform how you make your thumbnails, your titles going forward. So again, that's what you want to look at, so you don't keep blindly using the same bad title, bad thumbnail, or you keep scripting your videos in the same way if it's not working. Now, the fifth thing I stopped doing to help progress my channels forward is I stopped doing everything myself. So I'm kind of one of those people that likes to, learn at the lowest cost possible and then spend money from there. And while I did end up getting, quite a bit of YouTube success at the end of the day, I probably would have made way more money way sooner if I would have stopped doing everything myself. Because if you do everything yourself, you probably don't have great editing skills, great voiceover skills, great script writing skills. And so what's going to happen is that your video quality is not going to be where it needs to be for you to get a lot of traction on your channel. And because of this, you're not going to get views, you're not going to get subscribers, you're not going to make any money, or not as much as you could if you were to, let's say, outsource. Also, you only have so much time. Maybe you're a busy parent, you're a busy partner, maybe you have a job, maybe you have a business, and so you don't have all day, right? So you obviously can't extend too much beyond, let's say, 1, maybe 2 videos per week. But if you have other people helping you out, you're able to scale up that production much faster because you're not doing everything. Also, too, if you're busy, life happens, people get sick, other things come up, you have events. And so if you're doing everything yourself and something happens to your ability to put in work on a certain week or a certain month, you're not going to keep uploading regularly, which is going to impact your channel's consistent uploading and overall momentum and progress. So why I like outsourcing, it's going to speed up your channel growth because you're going to put in the hands of your freelancers the tasks that they're best at, and you can focus solely on the strategy. It's also important that you understand that you're going to have to do some upfront due diligence before hiring, which I'll talk about in a second. But as you start to hand off work, you're going to free up your own time. You're probably going to free up at least a handful of hours per week per video that you hand off. And because your freelancers will be able to focus specifically on your videos and you won't have to necessarily as much, you should be able to get much more consistent output on your channel. So talking about doing your due diligence, obviously there is no perfect methodology, but here's what I use to think about when I hire. So I want to look at 3 different things, okay? The first thing I want to think about is I want to look at how much of a job success score do they have. If the job success score or job success rate is very low, I know that they're not going to be very reliable, which is going to lead to having to rehire, probably get frustrated, etc. Now, the next thing that I want to look at is their total earnings. I like to hire based on at least $1,000 earned, and the reason I do that is because then I know that they've actually successfully completed work, which is going to be important because I want them to successfully complete work for me. And also, ideally, they have over 20 jobs completed, so you know that they can actually complete work. Because maybe they only had 1 job for $1,000, they got it done, but does that mean they have a track record for completing their contracts? Not really. So the whole point around it is you want to make sure you do this due diligence at the start, so you don't spend, the next week or month waiting for someone that's never going to provide you anything or not at the quality that you need. So talking about being consistent, and this is something that I usually share only with my private YouTube clients, but because you've made it this far, we're 13 minutes into the video, I want to share this with you. My suggestion for you, if you want to have the most robust team possible for outsourcing, but you don't want to spend more money than you really have to, that is you want to have an A and a B team, okay? So you want to upload 1 video per week. You're going to have 2 teams, Team A and Team B. So Team A is going to upload the 1st and 3rd video of the month, and Team B is going to upload the 2nd and 4th video of the month. Now, why use this framework instead of having 1 team that makes all 4 videos? Because number one, very often with freelancers, they still don't get all their work done on time. So now that video you want to release every week is every week and a half or 2 weeks. We don't want that. So you want to give each team 2 weeks to get the videos done so that even if they get slightly delayed in terms of their busyness, they're still able to easily meet that deadline. That's the first thing. If one of the teams quits on you or individuals quits on you, you still have the other team that can pick up the slack. And all you need to do is take the first team's quality video. When you hire the next team, give them that as a reference video, make sure it matches identically. And now no one's going to be able to tell if you have multiple teams working, and you're still only paying for 4 videos per month, and you're not increasing your costs at all. So that's a little pro tip for you because you made it this far. Now, the 4th thing that I stopped doing was stopped ideating blindly. So the idea behind your video is truly everything. Okay, if you have a bad topic, it doesn't matter how much time and money you pour into the production, your packaging, etc. Your video is not going to do well. So you're not going to get a lot of views. you're not going to grow your channel because you're not getting views, and you're just going to waste your time and money, which you don't have a lot of time and money to waste. No one does, despite how much money you actually have, because you want to use your resources well. So how do we stop ideating incorrectly, where we're just guessing at what we think people would want to watch, and we actually have a robust framework to follow? Because trust me, I've wasted a lot of time and money on topics that were very poor. So you need to assess the supply and the demand of the topics that you're pursuing. That's going to indicate to you if a lot of people want to watch the particular video and how many other videos you're competing against. And then it's also going to lead to how much of a longevity factor does that video topic have. Is it going to die out in a day? Or is it going to be a video that can make you money for months on end? So the tool I like to use is vidIQ. So let's just take a look at this particular channel right here. So if we're back on this channel that we found using TubeLab, what I like to do is come on a reference channel or a model channel that I've identified in my niche, and I go over here and I look at view trending videos using vidIQ. And this is going to bring up videos on the channel that are still getting quite a few views per hour after, let's say, a week. And the reason I say a week is because every new video is going to have high views per hour because it's new, but you actually want to be finding videos that are still getting quite a few views per hour that are older, let's say over a week old, right? Now, this is something this is a channel primarily based on trending topics. So obviously their videos are not necessarily going to have as much shelf life. But if we take a look at, like a channel like this is the sports documentary channel. So if we open this up right here and then we do the same exercise, what you're going to see here is that videos that are 4 months old still getting 160 views per hour. So not only is this telling us that there's a lot of interest in the market for these videos still 4 months later, it shows us that if we pick topics like this, there's the potential that people will keep watching month over month, and these videos will be digital assets that keep paying us month over month, which is exactly how you want to set up your channel, especially if you have a busy 9-to-5 job. But on top of that, what we would want to do next is just simply take a look at, for example, maybe this video is about, I don't recognize too many of the players, but if I did, maybe you'd take a look at this video right here and you say the Netflix kid who actually made it. So go look up this individual, see if there's any other videos on YouTube about him. Start to look, maybe there's one other one. Okay, not too bad, pretty low competition. But if there's like hundreds of other videos about this exact story using this exact video format, you should probably not pursue it because it's just too competitive. It's going to be too hard to break through, especially if you're new to YouTube and you don't have a really high quality set of standards for your videos that you can employ just yet. Now, obviously, if you're super advanced, most topics are still on the table for you. But if you are newer to the game and you're either cultivating your skills or you don't necessarily have the best team put together just yet, then you'd want to find those topics that are still in high demand and meet these metrics. I like to say over 20 views per hour, over 50 views per hour on videos that you want to potentially pursue. That ideally have, like less than 10 videos in the market on it. That will allow you to have a good ratio of current demand and then supply in the market. So that's how I would be doing that research. And before I figured out this strategy that I've kind of tested across my own and students' channels, I had a really hard time picking topics for my videos, but this is such an easy process to replicate. And if you want to learn more about obviously how I work with students to help them pick their niches, topics, etc., just click the link in this video's description. Okay, next, let's talk about relying only on ad revenue. So as you can see, I've made almost $1 million just in YouTube ad revenue alone, but YouTube ad revenue is the tip jar of your particular channel. Okay, it should make up just a small fraction of how much you're actually earning because brand deals, affiliates, your own products have so much higher leverage in terms of monetization potential. So if you're only relying on ad revenue, it will be hard to hit, let's say, more than $10,000 months, because you're going to need at least 1 million or 2 million views per month, which is not easy to obtain for the average person. Beyond that, it really reduces how many niches you can pursue, because you'd have to only be pursuing those niches with either massive demand, so you can make up for the lower RPM, or very high RPM, which a lot of channels don't have. So basically, if you went from a massive pool of like 10,000 niches, you'd probably be filtering down to say like 1,000, which then you want to pair with your interests and everything else like that. And obviously, if you're only relying on ad revenue and you have to try 10 times harder to make money, then unfortunately your ability to run your channel profitably is going to be, you're just going to be impaired in that sense, right? So it's just going to be harder to turn your channel into a profitable asset. So my recommendation for you is that as you're starting a channel, you want to find channels that have at least 2 different monetization methods associated with them. And so this means basically that you want to pursue channels that have ad revenue and something else associated with it. So if I just take a look at, different channels that exist, this is obviously a long-standing one at this point, and it'll kind of tie everything together with respect to this channel is second. But you can see here that what they're doing is they're basically promoting an offer in their video right here and in their page. So you can see here that this basically promotes your ability to be able to sign up for a Skillshare with this different link here. You can see this is a ref or a referral link. So this is an affiliate offer where this channel gets paid every time you sign up for the course. And it's got over 3,600 students signed up already. So what does this mean? This just simply means that this is a channel that obviously people could come for inspiration, for learning, etc. And then when people click on these links, or alternatively, let's just go down here. Let's just say we open up this video.
You ever wondered how the most successful people get to the top? How do they juggle?
Do you see here you have includes paid promotion? When you're trying to find niches to pursue, you want to be looking out for little things like this that are going to indicate that this channel is getting paid for a brand deal or an integration. Now, if we scroll through the video, let's see if we scroll through a little bit more. We're probably going to come to the point where you're going to see something like this, a brand deal, where a brand is basically paying for a 30, 60, 90-second integration in the video, where this channel is not only getting paid a flat fee for this integration, but they're also having an affiliate link where if people sign up, this channel makes money. So the more integrations like this that channels can do, the more things that can sell, etc., ultimately, the more money it's going to make. And this is the kind of setup that you want to have to make sure you're running your channel like a business and not a show business. So that's one thing you want to consider, because ultimately you want to be making as much money from your channel as possible. Now, the second last thing that I stopped doing that really moved my YouTube experience forward is stop copying bigger channels. So when you're trying to copy bigger channels, you're trying to basically beat them at their own game, but they're bigger than you. They potentially have more money to invest than you. They definitely have more skill than you as you're starting your journey. So you're putting yourself in a losing position that is very hard to dig yourself out from. Also, if you're doing what everyone else does, you have no edge in the market to try and, penetrate the market per se. And it's just going to make growing your channel slower, because you will still get views, but it'll just be a slog each and every time you upload a video. So what you actually want to do is you want to use a differentiation approach. So what do I mean by this? You want to be building a channel that uses a unique format and inserts new ideas into the market so that your videos will stand out, okay? Does it seem like YouTube is saturated? It does, but there's always different formats, different ideas that are being injected into the platform, and that's what truly causes channels to grow quickly. Now, again, using a differentiation strategy is also very key if you're balling on a budget, because if you don't have the money to spend more than your competition to make even better videos, then you have to dive into doing things slightly differently. So I just want to share with you an example of a channel that's done really well. It's called The Blue Guy, 30 videos, almost 60,000 subscribers. Now you could sit there and think, wow, the fitness niche is so saturated. There's no way you can make money from it, this, and that. But I want to show you an example. let's first look at this channel and let's look at how many views that it's generating. So right now, this channel is generating, you could see 550,000 views per month roughly. But you can also see that it has links to affiliate links that it can make money outside of just ad revenue alone. And the reason why it's getting thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per video is because it's using a unique format in the market to stand out. This is why this channel just started 6 months ago, and it's already got more traction than most people ever get on YouTube. So again, this is what you want to think about. It didn't just copy these other big channels. It added something new to the market, and now it's doing particularly well. Now, the last thing that I stopped doing to really get ahead on YouTube is trying to figure everything out myself. So really, there's only 3 things you have to focus on to be successful on YouTube. You have to have YouTube strategy, which comes with picking the right niche, picking the right topics. You need to have high quality videos because people are literally trading time out of their life that they're never getting back to watch your content. You need to make it worth their while. And so this is going to come from improving, obviously, the production quality of your videos, the ideas, etc. And then you need to be consistent, right? YouTube is something that you have to keep feeding. Ideally, if you're doing things evergreen, you don't have to feed it as much. But ultimately, you get out what you put in on YouTube like any other platform. Now, in my early days of YouTube, I want to give myself credit. I was very consistent. I never missed uploading. But I was struggling. I wasn't making any money, wasn't getting any views because my video quality sucked, even though I thought it was good. And I had no strategy because I didn't know how to pick topics, pick formats, pick the right niches like I just showed you. So I struggled. I struggled a lot. And so what I ended up doing was, like I said, coming full circle, I actually paid $500 to Improvement Pill, the channel I just showed you, to basically get on a call, learn YouTube strategy from him, and basically aid my own progress so that I stopped wasting precious time and precious money trying to figure things out. And I just basically got to the point where I had everything I needed to pick the right topics, use the right format. And that's when I started to grow my channel to 4 and 5 figure months per month and basically do that alongside having my 9-to-5 job, right? Is because I just needed to get the right information. So things like watching my YouTube channel, following me online, I share a lot of great tips, but this is why usually the people that I work with directly get the best results because I'm giving them cultivated and customized feedback for them, which is exactly what Richard from Improvement Pill gave me on this particular call. So again, you're going to save yourself months, if not years of time, actually getting the right information because then you can apply that right away. There's much less money being spent on bad videos. There's much less time being wasted on topics that aren't going to move your channel forward. And ultimately, you're just going to start making money sooner. So in a way, you spend a little bit of money to start making that money sooner that would be months down the road if you didn't actually take that action, or potentially it might be money that you'd never end up earning, but you are now because you invested in yourself, right? So this is why getting the right information before starting your journey, personally, I think is really great, especially when combined with taking action. And so again, the things that are really going to move your channel forward in terms of the production side of things and the video quality, reviewing your analytics, that's going to give you insights into what aspects of your video you need to improve, what aspects are already working, things like looking at, your retention dips, your retention spikes, your first 30 seconds. We already talked about this. And then investing in teams and tools. So the better team you can put together and the better tools that you can use, the better your videos are going to be so that they're actually worthwhile people watching. And I told you I wasn't reviewing analytics, and when I started to do that, my channel started to take off. Also, I started YouTube before AI was a thing, so I had to invest into good quality team members that could help me move my channel forward. And that made things not only more enjoyable for me as a channel owner, but really moved the channel forward as well. And if you want a full guide on how to monetize a faceless YouTube channel in 2026, even if you have a job, click on this next video.